It's Monday, February 16, a brand new week. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the news. Our lead stories. Turning trash into cash is now a near reality in Cameroon's major hubs, as a local recycling firm has officially announced it will begin purchasing waste directly from the public. The company aims to stimulate citizens to help clean up their cities while earning profit.
It's a very nice initiative. It will actually help people combat poverty.
So some people see it like as a means of making money, right?
Out of the country, operations at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport in Nairobi has been severely disrupted today, Monday, February 16, due to a nationwide strike by the aviation workers. The industrial action has caused a departing flight to be delayed by up to 4 hours, with many passengers stranded inside aircraft or at the terminal. In sports, Cameroon's under-20 Lionesses have progressed to the final qualification round of the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup, where they will face Tanzania in the month of May. The objective is to search for their second qualification ticket for the World Cup after their maiden appearance in Colombia. Those were the headlines. Stay tuned for a development of these stories and several others. We begin the news in politics, where the holding of the municipal and legislative elections in Cameroon, initially scheduled for February 25th, has been postponed to an unknown date. The changes follows the head of state's outing during his address to the youths on February 10, 2026, where he revealed that the electoral calendar for 2026 will have slight adjustments as of what concerns the holding of the legislative and municipal elections. Political actors have been reacting to this outing. Leopold Ndasi is of the Cameroon Democratic Union Party, CDU.
First of all, we are very, very surprised by this position, because on the month of February, we're supposed to have this election, and the president decided to postpone it while not giving the reasons why he postponed this election. We are so surprised that the president decided alone to postpone. But by now, after the presidential election, we are hoping that he's going to postpone also the regional election, because it is the councillor who used to vote the regional councillor. But he decided to let the election go on. We were also very surprised. Then now come the time to go for votes. We were supposed to do it by this month of February, but he postponed last year. We are going to the elections of council was supposed to be at May. We were waiting for that, but he decided that it's going to be postponed. Let us bring out these two small points. We were waiting that he was going to talk about this by taking in case what says the electoral code. Concerning the electoral code about the parliamentarian elections, there is no article obliging the head of state that election will take place this day. He is free. He has the right to postpone as he likes. But concerning municipal elections, the section 170 limited at 18 months, cannot go postpone more than that. That's why he decided, as you all know, last year, limit on this month of May.
In the same vein, the vice president of the Social Democratic Front SDF party, Louise Marie Cagde, reveals
the question of the postponement of the local elections is always on the table of the political debate, because there are two issues. Either the authorities pushes or postpone the election because the trend of the presidential election was not good, or they do it in order to weaken their opponents, especially when they know that the opponent has been or had better results during the presidential. They push for the opponent to lose their strength and then to come back with the regime, to come back with better results. I think that this is how they think, and that's why they will postpone and On that base, and also considering that we have budgetary problems in Cameroon today, it'll be difficult to postpone just for a few months. I think it'll be much more, and we'll see what will happen at National Assembly in the parliament during the ordinary session of March. Because if they amend the constitution, maybe it will also concern the electoral code. So let's wait and see. And by April, we'll see where we stand. And at that time, we can give better analysis.
Political analysts on their part have been debating on the head of state's decision to postpone legislative and municipal elections. Ken Valentine and Professor Victor Barika are both political analysts.
Translation into real political language, we will decide the calendar when it suits us. Just say it simple. That's not a technical sentence. That's a power sentence. Because in a normal democracy, elections control leaders. But in a captured system, leaders control elections. Because it seems like when they were extending the mandate for one more year, they had no idea that February, March, April, May is around the corner.
The president did not just say they want to adjust that. So for certain, legal issues, just to ensure that these elections are conducted in the right way, because if it's not done the right way, then we get back to the same confusion we had for the presidential elections where people were complaining. To me, it's a good thing. It's good to wait and do it right. As you rush it and do it wrong, it instead causes chaos down the road. Don't forget, it's stipulated within the constitution that it can be postponed for up to 6 months. A boycott would be one of the most foolish things political parties can do. I want to remind you, boycott as leaders of political parties, you are indeed not promoting democracy, because you are taking away the rights of the people that really even wanted to vote maybe for you. It's very anti-democratic. So allow people to vote. Now remember that postponing has been done within the rule of law, within the rule of the Constitution. Nothing has been done outside of what the Constitution stipulates. So why the rush?
Away from politics, Cameroon hosted the 2030 International Congress and Exhibition of the African Water and Sanitation Association from February 9 to the 12th of February 2026 in Yaoundé. The conference was held under the theme Water and Sanitation for All, Strong Action for Africa, and ended with several resolutions taken on the sector. The resolutions included securing water resources, improve performance, and the modernization of sector in all countries, with Cameroon being included. The international gathering comes after the Water Resource and Energy Minister adopted a budget of 425,732 billion CFA francs to run its projects. Cameroonians have since then been sharing their expectations and opinions regarding these activities aimed at providing constant and efficient water and even electricity. Let's listen to them in this Vox Pop put together by Glory Gange.
The water and energy sector in Cameroon is a very big sector, which, if was well managed, Cameroonians would not have any issues when it comes to energy supply. Cameroon is a country which is richly blessed with waterways, but due to the way the country is, we face less energy supply.
The water and energy sectors being improved in Cameroon is actually a very positive aspect to me as a Cameroonian in particular. That's because water and energy has always been a problem in Cameroon.
Much is still yet to be done in Cameroon as far as water and energy resources is concerned. We still have several neighborhoods, even in major cities like Yaoundé and Douala, that do not have clean pipe-borne water, which is quite regrettable, not to talk of many villages around.
I expect a better management from them, and we expect that Cameroonians should be considered when it comes to usage of these resources. That is, they should pay lesser fee to consume these resources.
We just want to hope that as they improve the sectors, it will be constant, because the rate at which blackouts are is so devastating.
My hope is that with all these seminars the ministry has been having, it will lead to tangible improvement in the provision of these services to the general population.
According to the Chinese government, China will apply zero custom duties to some African countries, including Cameroon. In other words, Cameroonian products will now have access to Chinese interior markets. However, experts are concerned as to if the country is ready to seize the opportunities that this decision will provide, such as quality standards and export capacity. Our reporter Jeffrey Tachum interviewed an economist and compiled their reactions in this report.
The economic context of Cameroon is not yet adequate to adapt to the realities of the Chinese market, according to Henry Kwam, director at the Cameroon Economic Policy Institute.
I think there had to be a much more coherent schedule, and that schedule should have allowed Cameroon sufficient time to adapt. When we worry about trade agreements, the real concern is that our industries are not developing. From 1960 on now, we don't produce enough to 10% of the meat that we consume or 10% of the milk that we consume.
In addition, the expert believes that it is about time for Cameroon to consider embarking on a journey towards transformation of its raw materials before landing them on international markets.
We need to stop exporting raw stuff. We have to process what we export. We cannot keep grinding cocoa, drying and grounding cocoa and exporting and expect to develop. The free trade agreements are not the problem. It's a matter of interpretation. The problem is that we're investing slowly in digitization and we're developing at a very slow pace. That's the real problem.
Therefore, Henry Kwam gives a number of recommendations which he believes could raise our country on the world economic landscape.
What we have to do now is accelerate economic transformation, improve governance, invest in our infrastructure and human capital, and also ensure that any subsidies that are given to firms are given with quantitative target sets.
China's decision to grant duty-free access to African exports marks a major shift in Africa-China trade relations. While the policy opens new opportunities for growth, industrialization, and stronger market access, it also underscores the strategic and diplomatic dimensions shaping global trade partnerships.
And on to our headline story, an environmental company has announced plans to start buying waste for recycling in Yaoundé and Douala. In a recent communique, the waste recycling company published competitive prices for different categories of waste. This initiative aims to boost recycling efforts and clean up the cities. Our society reporter Ngang Nader spoke to some citizens to get their reactions to the new development. Here's our report.
Renard, a Yaoundé resident, believes that the initiative will encourage more people to participate in recycling efforts, as putting a price tag on waste will motivate individuals to contribute, thereby improving the city's cleanliness.
I really see this as a way of improving the cleanliness of our town. I know many people will enroll in this activity, which will reduce the amount of dirt found on streets, and it will improve the cleanliness of the town.
Neba agrees that the initiative is a positive step, adding that it will also provide an opportunity for people to earn income.
Wow, it's a very great initiative, and I think my first major act is I went through the company's details, looking to see if their information about where they are located or if they are around my area. It's a very nice initiative. It could actually help people combat poverty while keeping the environment clean.
According to Dorothy, this will add the benefit of reducing littering and improper waste disposal, as people will prefer to sell their waste rather than dumping it.
I think it's a good initiative, a very good one. For the reason I'm saying so is because, when you walk around, you see there's a lot of littering. People don't care, they just throw that anyhow. Is it at the market square, at the roadside? So it's making the environment to be so dirty and unkept. So I think if these people are coming up that they will buy waste, a lot of people now will be like, okay, instead of me, some people will see it as a means of making money, right?
She notes that the program might spark entrepreneurial activity, with individuals collecting waste and reselling to the companies.
Even if people throw this dead anyhow, there'll be boys who don't have something doing. They might decide and say, okay, we'll be working to these quarters, gathering all this dead, then we sell to this company and make money for our own selves, you see. So I think it's going to help a lot, our environment will be well kept.
Another Yaoundé resident, Elvis, echoes the sentiment, calling the initiative a good move that will also raise awareness about proper waste management and promote a cleaner society.
I think this is a very good initiative by the company. I think the company is committed in reducing waste and promoting sustainability in Cameroon. This could create jobs and encourage people to recycle. This will also help to keep cities like Yaoundé and Douala cleaner. More so, it could lead to cleaner streets and more awareness about recycling in Cameroon. So I think it's a very good initiative.
The price tags have been categorized according to the type of waste as follows: plastic waste 75 francs per kilogram, paper and cardboard waste 50 francs per kilogram, glass waste 50 francs per kilogram, scrap metal 100 francs per kilogram, and aluminium waste and cans for 200 francs per kilogram.
And following the new initiative of buying and recycling waste, Gangnadesh also interviewed a recycling expert and environmental activist who shares the appreciation of the project. Take a listen to Ebot Simon.
When it comes to plastic recycling, there's a lot of competition with buying. So many people are buying because they do import and export of plastic. But at one point in time, even I myself was supposed to sign it. I came to look at like they're cheating, and they are selling to the white people very expensive. So no need doing that kind of a shit. Instead, at least I think if they want to buy plastics, at least the money should be encouraging. And that's why you see plastics are littered everywhere. People are not even budging themselves to go and look for plastic. Yes, they are not budging themselves. So that's it. I know seeing plastic are still everywhere. If they were buying in a reasonable amount, people would have been trying to do something. I mean, I carry my own plastic, I recycle. I don't even sell them. I met one place that was more than 1 trailer plastic. I've seen that they are not buying well, so no need.
Our newsroom equally had an exchange with Cindy Ngongo, a recycling activist, who shares her point of view.
This is actually a good initiative because it has identified a problem in our community, and it's not just proposing a solution, but a solution with an economic value. Thereby, it can go along with to reduce poverty or unemployment, as well as some social ills such as theft. It actually promotes circularity. Circularity will bring about employment where these people, they might employ people to go around picking these dirts for them, and at the end of the day, they have money, which also goes to boost our economy. Then the third is innovative potentials. These people can still go and process this thing, or they can still go and sell it, or develop complex technology with it, like what Neftech is doing. They collect plastics, sort it, and use it to produce chips that are used in our computers. Then the bad side is, first of all, we have exploitation risks.
In education, the relationship between students and parents often become conflictual due to the learners' desire to explore their talents and the parents' focus on academic achievements. Experts, however, say with proper guidance, young individuals can successfully pursue both their interests. More insights with our youth and education reporter, Glory Gange.
Dr. Didier Demasoso is a school guidance counselor. He begins by highlighting that every child is born with a unique gift.
Their development is affected both by genetic and contextual or environmental factors, meaning that when a child is born, they have a certain predisposition to acquire a variety of information or skills, and they could be disposed based on genetic elements to be interested in one or more activities.
The guidance counselor decries the fact that these abilities are often being hindered by the educational body.
These aptitudes are often prevented from blossoming as a result of the contexts in which they emerge. Unfortunately, this is not appropriate. Education should nurture inborn abilities so that they serve common good. That is why it is important for parents to be sensitive to the natural aptitudes which their children have and seek guidance and counseling so that these skills should be developed.
He advises stakeholders to pay attention to these skills demonstrated by children because
when this sensitivity is consistent and when the guardian or parents or the educational community is sensitive to this potential that the child has, this builds up self-esteem in the child. They feel that what they are is not wrong and that they can freely become themselves.
Dr. Didier Demasoso further stresses that learning centers should rather serve as a nest to these talents.
Education should be grafted on social emotional learning, whereby we are not just focusing on enabling the child or the learner to acquire information without focusing on who is acquiring the information? What does he like? What does he not like? What do they feel comfortable with? What are their interests? What motivates them?
It is worth retaining that while academic achievement is necessary, personal skills should not be buried or forgotten.
In culture today, we look at the attitudes of most artists, especially Cameroonian artists, adopt whenever they are performing in a concert. A case in point is the Shakala VIP, who during her concert recently took off her underwear right in front of the public and started flaunting. This act has, however, questioned the dignity and ethics of some artists. In line with this, Frino Crispin, head of Reporters Brigade and Culture, spoke with an expert in culture and now reports.
Ernest Akufo is an expert in culture. He condemns artists who commit acts that dishonors Cameroon's image, especially during their concerts.
In principle, they are meant to showcase our rich cultural heritage. And it is rather unfortunate that some of our artists who don't know the meaning and raison d'etre of these performances, when they get out there, they come to show their deviances. And at times, they are not in consonance with what cultural performance is supposed to be. They desecrate the culture.
This is because African traditional culture is meant to promote, showcase the richness in culture and not the contrary.
Nowhere in our culture is it said people should remove their underwears and begin to present to the public. That is public indecency and it is condemnable. So how I wish the Ministry of Culture calls her to order and maybe suspends her from public performances for a period of time. This will make it that the artist should sit up because she's not the lone one.
Moreover, the expert in culture, Ernest Akufo, reveals possible reasons for such behavior on stage during concerts.
I think she was not merely portraying the culture, but she had ulterior motives. And who knows whether she was not out to charm the public there, charm them negatively and not positively. It's rather unfortunate, but that's what our society has been reduced to, a society where merit has been thrown to the dogs. It's rather regrettable.
It is worth noting that Chakala VIP's attitude on stage adds to that of numerous artists who accord little attention to ethics and principles.
Out of the country, Nigeria's foreign ministry has issued an urgent warning over what it describes as the increasing illegal recruitment of its citizens to fight in foreign conflicts. It comes after Ukrainian officials they found the bodies of 2 Nigerians who they said were killed in combat last year. Nigeria has not confirmed those deaths, but in a statement on Sunday, Foreign Minister's spokesperson revealed that several Nigerians who have fallen victims to such unfortunate situations were deployed to combat zones after being misled and forced into signing military service. The African Union leaders meeting at a 2-day summit in Addis Ababa have adopted a resolution that describes slavery, deportation, and colonialism as genocide and crimes against the people of Africa. The chairman, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, also called for an end to what he called the extermination of the Palestinian people. Member states agreed to designate November 30 as the African Day of Tribute to Africans and victims of the transatlantic slave trade, colonization, and apartheid. Flights in and out of Kenya's main airports are being delayed following a planned strike by aviation industry workers. The national airline and the airport departing flights from Nairobi's Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, one of Africa's busiest transport hubs, have been delayed by up to 4 hours, according to reports. The disruption follows a warning a week ago by the Kenyan Aviation Workers Union of a plan to go on strike over pay and poor working conditions. In sports, we begin in football, where the indomitable Lionesses of Cameroon have officially kicked off their journey towards the 2026 Women's African Cup of Nations in Morocco. The squad's first preparatory training camp is currently underway in Yaoundé at the CAF Excellence Center in Bankomo, and is set to run until February 19, 2026. The said training camp is supervised by the assistant coach Josephine Mike Ndumu, who summoned 25 players that blends veteran and experienced players, while the squad features heavy representation from top local clubs like FC Bolo and Leke Football Girls. International star Lamine Mana has also joined the camp from China, among several other players. Still in football, Cameroon's under-20 Lionesses have progressed to the fourth and final qualification round for the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup. The team advanced from the third round after a 5-1 win on aggregate against Botswana, which resulted from a 5-0 win for the Baby Lionesses at home and a 1-0 defeat away from home. The team is now set to face off against Tanzania in the final qualification round, which has been slated to hold in the month of May 2026. And now in basketball, Cameroon's basketball player Pascal Siakam has become the only African player to have played in the 75th edition of the NBA All-Star Game held on February 15 in California. The Cameroonian played 2 games for Team World and recorded 10 points from 5 out of 7 shots. He also recorded 4 rebounds and 2 assists against Team USA and Team US Trites. Notably, while representing the Indiana Pacers, this was Siakam's 4th career All-Star appearance under the league's new format. Here's an excerpt of Pascal Siakam after the said game.
I just love being from Africa, being from Cameroon, and I just want to represent my roots and where I'm from. And I know that I was blessed enough to be here, but I also know that there's like 1,000 other people that's probably even more talented and gifted than me that don't have that opportunity. So I think that just continuing to showcase that, have the opportunity. The NBA is doing a great job of like bringing that a little bit, and I think that everyone should just know that how rich the continent is and the resources is just what's needed, and I think it's going to have the talent show a lot more.
Olivier Ndemaipo, good afternoon.
Bon après-midi, Brian Biwa.
You have a summary of this newscast in French language.
Les élections municipales et législatives prévues en cette année 2026 ont été renvoyées à une date ultérieure. Le chef de l'État l'a évoqué lors de son discours à la jeunesse le 10 février dernier. La nouvelle date du scrutin n'est pas encore connue, mais le report, selon des sources, serait dû au contexte socio-politique. Hors de nos frontières, le trafic aérien fait l'objet de perturbations au Kenya. Ceci est manifeste par des retards au départ et aux arrivées des vols à l'aéroport international Jomo Kenyatta de Nairobi, le principal aéroport du pays, également de la région est-africaine. Selon Mohamoud Guedi, président directeur général de l'autorité portuaire, cette situation est due à un conflit entre le syndicat des personnels de l'aviation kenyane et l'autorité de l'aviation civile du Kenya. Sport pour finir, la 5e journée du championnat national d'élite 1 de football 2026 s'achève ce jour. Et cet après-midi, la dernière affiche va mettre aux prises à Yaoundé, Canon et Unisport. Voici les résultats enregistrés le week-end dernier. PWD de Bamenda 2, Panthère d'Undé 0, Coton Sport de Garoua 1, Faux Vaseux de Yaoundé 0, Colombe FC du Sud 2, Aigle du Mungo 2, Gazelle de Garoua 0, S Fortuna d'Onfou 0, Victoria United de Limbe 3, Aigle de la Menois 1, et puis Stade de Renard de Melon 2, Dynamo de Douala 2.
And it is with that summary from Olivier Ndemaipo that we have reached the end of today's news on Reality 8.4 FM. The news was a success thanks to the technical expertise of Yurish Kemo. On the cameras for our various social media handles, we had Brian Bida. Production assistants came in from Free Crispin. Script editing we got from Mapala Zita. Editorial kitchen came in from Abel Bela Samari. Coordination we had from the station's manager Roger Kiek, and for general supervision, the Reverend Pastor Bisai Emmanuel Noel. For presentation, my name is Biwa Brian, and up next is part 2 of Fresher Royal. She has joined me in the studio once more, Raisa Parker. Good afternoon once more.
Thank you, Biwa, Brian. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, dear listeners. Pour la deuxième partie de Fraîcheur Royale, nous sommes là. On va revenir sur les thématiques déjà sur la table. Lendemain de Saint-Valentin, les échecs de cette célébration, les surprises désagréables. Voilà, ce qu'on retient d'un couple. Voilà. On parlera de ça, on reviendra aussi sur une autre thématique que nous avons sur la table. Après quelques semaines seulement de rencontres, une femme doit-elle aller faire le ménage chez son dragueur, chez son prétendant? On en discute avec les auditeurs, sans oublier que la deuxième partie est essentiellement portée par les rubriques coup de cœur, également la page pratique avec Dorine. On se dit à tout à l'heure, Brian.
À tout à l'heure to you. Take the appointment, ladies and gentlemen. Goodbye.